So it's been a while since we spoke about 8 Passengers on this channel, and the truth is, it's been a while since 8 Passengers have really been spoke about on YouTube at all. Obviously, there are some creators that are still talking about them, but it seems like the videos on 8 Passengers have dipped a lot, like, throughout, like, the last year or so, and that's mainly due to the fact that they're still just doing the same stuff. So what can you say at this point? What they're doing is bad, but they're not changing, so how many times can you mention it? But it seems like now, within the last few days, a much different audience is starting to hear about 8 Passengers because a bunch of news articles have started coming out talking about what they've done. And a lot of these news articles in particular have been posted to Facebook, and if you're familiar with Facebook, you wouldn't be surprised that some of the opinions that have been said regarding what this family have done are, well, I should put it this way, I disagree with them. Facebook is a bit of a weird place like that. Now, we will go through these articles in just a second, but just to give you a bit of an update on things with 8 Passengers, because I obviously get comments on, like, pretty much every video I upload to give an update. The update is nothing's changed. Like I kind of mentioned earlier. They're still doing connections, they're still answering questions on their Facebook page. A lot of these questions seem to be very specific and maybe aren't real scenarios and just seem to be kind of related to Ruby, to hear what she would say. I mean, we have this one here that says, maybe y'all can help. We have 4 adult children, 2 of whom use Facebook and other social media to lie about and bash my husband and I. Kind of sounds a bit similar. Obviously, other than the whole, like, lying part, but I guess that was maybe put in the question just so Ruby would answer it, so she can kind of feel, like, related to, I guess. But I don't know, maybe these are real questions from real people. It just seemed like it was a bit, like, targeted, you know? Like, a lot of these questions are just to hear what Ruby's opinions are on her situation. But it doesn't seem like anything's changed. It seems like Ruby's family are still very much against her. I mean, in Ellie and Jared's recent video, you know, Ruby's relatives here were talking about, they even made a joke saying that you can't use the word truth in this household. So basically, they're talking about each person's role in the family, and they're talking about Ellie, and they say she's like the reality check person. She kind of tells people when they're doing something that could be bad, like if they've made a plan that could be a bit dangerous, she'll be the one to kind of get everyone in check and like be the sensible one. To which Cullen then comes into shot and says she's like the truth, and we get this.
And Ellie's like, hey guys,
yeah.
she's like the truth. Yeah.
She's like the truth. Like she's like, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
We don't use that word. Sorry.
Yeah, so they're still throwing little digs here and there, which they should, by the way, because this situation has been so fucking mental and it's been going on for a long time. I think we forget about a lot of the details that have been happening because there's so many of them. But yeah, they definitely have every right to throw a few little digs here and there. But let's get to the news articles now. Now, all these news articles that have been coming out literally within the last, like, 3 or so days are all about an old clip of Ruby's that I guess has gained a lot more traction online, where she's talking about how she won't give her kids food if they forget to pack their lunch or if they don't do chores and stuff like that. These are all clips that we kind of covered in the past, but to give you a bit of a reminder of the type of stuff that she would say, here's a few.
And my kids are literally starving.
Sorry, it's just mad how that clip started off with the words, my kids are literally starving, and now she's about to explain why she thinks that's okay.
But I told the kids, I said, I'm not even gonna let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done.
God, that little giggle, man. Fuck, I think we forget about how bad some of these clips are.
Just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable.
How dare she be uncomfortable?
I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning.
It's still as shocking as when you first heard it, isn't it? But yeah, this is the clip in particular that's gained a lot of traction just in the last few days. I mean, this was actually posted on the 28th of June, which isn't very long ago at all. It's got 9 million views. So yeah, I mean, it's only been out for a couple of weeks and 9 million people have seen it. So it fucking blew up, basically. I mean, to be fair, if we look at this whole page, it is all just clips of Ruby talking absolute shite, and they're all getting like millions or hundreds of thousands of views. So I mean, yeah, it seems like this is kind of going kind of mad on TikTok recently. But because of this, we got a bunch of articles. We got one here from Yahoo saying mum criticised for making children pay for their things with cash or chores or watch them be thrown away. Here's another one from Yahoo saying mum of a 4-year-old tells school her child can go hungry since the little girl is responsible for packing her own lunch each morning and didn't do it. Here's one from 7 News saying parents heartbroken as mum explains why she won't pack lunch for her girl, 6. Yeah, I don't know how old the kid actually was here, because obviously one article said 4, one said 6. Either way, still fucked up. And obviously these news pages have Facebook pages, right? And they post the articles every time a new article comes out. And then we get to see the comments from people on Facebook. And to be fair, the majority seem to be talking sense, in my opinion, from the opinions I hold, right? But then you get some people and it's just like, what are you going on about? Certainly teaching them responsibility. I'm with her. You good, mum. Now, I would like to give the benefit of the doubt to the people who leave these comments and say that they probably don't know the full picture of Ruby Franke and what else she's done previously, and they are just going off a basic headline. But yet again, the photo that is attached to this Facebook post says, my 6-year-old has to make their own lunch or she goes hungry. That should be enough information for you to be like, well, that's not good, is it? It's not just a case of you trying to teach your child some responsibility into packing their own lunch, and if they don't do it, there might be like a small punishment, if you want to call it that. That sounds like such a harsh word, but you know what I mean. Something that's nowhere near as serious as making your child starve, for a start. But then you also have people who do hold a very similar opinion to me. I mean, someone said here saying, so she should be slammed. It's a mother's job to pack her child and husband's lunch at any age. A 6-year-old is still a baby. She should never have been blessed with children. Now look, I would never say that someone should never be blessed with children. I feel like that's a really harsh thing to say, so I wouldn't say that, but I mean, the rest of it, a 6-year-old is still a baby. It's the parent's job to pack the lunch. Yes, that to me makes complete sense. But then yet again, we have more comments saying, good on her. The kid will grow up coping with a manageable life and strong independence. Yeah, I mean, this person definitely doesn't know the full situation, because if he did, he would know that the oldest child now wants nothing to do with her mother, and it has something to do with things like this. So yeah, I guess you could describe that as independence, but it's probably not the independence that you'd want your child to have, right? Like them not wanting to talk to you, and they hate the way they were treated. Don't think that's really part of it. But actually looking through the comments right now, there are clearly some people who do know more about the situation. We've got a comment here saying, this is the same lady who took her teenage son's bed away from him for 7 months because he played a prank on his brother. And I would like to think if that news article was posted and put on Facebook, people wouldn't be so divided on it. But you never know with Facebook, do you? I'm all for natural consequences. However, a 6-year-old child is a bit rough. Yeah, I mean, I feel like people kind of ignored the age part of this, right? We're not talking about someone who's in like year 11 at school, 16 years old, and forgot their lunch. It's a 6-year-old. Like, what are you expecting? Good on you, mum. Great life lesson for your daughter. Maybe she won't tell lies next time too. What the fuck does that mean? I guess because in the video, Ruby says that her child did tell her that she had packed the lunch, and which still could be true. She could have packed the lunch and forgot about it, you know, because she's 6. But how are you going to hold a grudge against a 6-year-old? I don't fucking understand it. But yeah, it's fair to say the majority of the comments on here hold the opinion that this is a fucked up thing to do, and are quite disgusted by this. But yeah, it is a lot more divided than what you would expect, and I guess you could give people the benefit of the doubt. They don't know the whole situation, and they're just going off like the basic story, which yet again, I feel like there is enough context there to not have that opinion. But yeah, it's just interesting how so many news articles have started covering this, and I'm not even going through them all right now. There's even more, and maybe due to this like Facebook page, like I said, if we look for the views again, I mean, these videos are getting crazy views. This one here, talking about how she took Chad's bed away for 7 months because he told his brother that they were going to Disneyland when they weren't. This got 7 million views. So maybe there might be a lot more news articles coming out talking about this, where a wider audience is going to hear about this. It'll be interesting to see what happens at that point. I mean, this one has 14 million views. Which one is this? Oh my god, oh, this is a brilliant video.
I'm so angry. I could scream.
This might be my favorite video last year.
So I went in and I had an appointment with the principal. She said, you know, what can I help you with today? And I said, I have a concern about the TikTok dances.
Oh, I love this video so much. Yeah, if you need some context, you're unaware of what this is. Basically, there was a school dance, and they were doing a performance where they danced to Apple Bottom Jeans, a song by Flo Rida, and Ruby freaked out. In fact, Kevin, the dad, actually went in and had a meeting with like the school principal and started reciting the lyrics in like the most like serious voice ever. It was a fucking weird situation. But yeah, for old time's sake, let's hear Ruby complain about Apple Bottom Jeans.
She said in the fall semester and in the spring semester we need to have a performance. A flash mob is a great way to get it in. It's efficient. The kids love it. They have fun with it, and they are able to check off their performance for their grade. I said my problem is the choice of songs. And she says, well, all the songs were approved by me. The teacher put together a list of songs and she gave them to me and I approved them. And I said, okay, so you approved this song that has all of these lyrics in it. And she says, well, we're not dancing to those lyrics. It's just a portion. And she says, I think it's really great because I actually really like it because Smiths used it in their commercial. It's part of pop culture. It's all over the place.
Yeah, they did, by the way. Smiths as in like the toy store. I think it's a toy store, right? Yeah, Smith Toy Superstores. Buy toys for kids. Like, it's a toy store, right? And they use this song in their commercials, but for some reason, Ruby has a massive problem with it.
And I said, that's really disappointing. That is so disappointing because I would hope that the principal where my kids go to school, the standard would be morality. And she says, well, what's moral for you isn't going to be moral for other parents. You know, you're complaining about this song, but I've got 30 other parents that just think it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's so great listening to Ruby talk about morals, isn't it? The one person who doesn't know the fucking definition of the word, it seems. I mean, fucking hell. Of all the stuff that Ruby has done in the past, the thing she has a problem with the most is apple-bottom jeans.
Even the section that's there is still seductive and lustful. I said a 12-year-old, 13-year-old may not realize it, but you and I as women know that that's seductive.
Wait till she finds out as well, by the way, that like all these shows that kids watch have these like hidden messages that kids won't understand, but they're kind of jokes for like the parents to laugh at, you know? I mean, the amount of jokes in SpongeBob that parents only understand, the kids have no idea at the time. I had no idea when I was younger. I watched every episode of SpongeBob. But there are so many videos on YouTube showing you these clips if you do want to go and see it, because it's funny to look back at and be like, oh my god, I can't even believe that was even in it. Like, I can't even remember that. And I think if Ruby looked back at some SpongeBob clips, she would have an absolute meltdown, because some of them are worse than apple bottom jeans, so god knows what the reaction would be.
And she says, well, you know, if Julie wants to get out of the class, I'm totally fine making adjustments. Whatever would make Julie feel comfortable, I'm open to doing. I will, if she doesn't want to participate, that's fine. And I said, you're missing the whole point of why I'm here. I am not here for anyone's comfort, including my daughter's. I'm not here to make her comfortable.
God, how embarrassed would you be if you were at school and your fucking mum came in screaming and shouting about apple-bottom jeans, man? You'd be like, mum, please stop. But yeah, either way, this was just a bit of like an update video. I get asked literally every single day to do an update video on 8 Passengers. So here you go. It seems like it is becoming a lot bigger in like mainstream world, if you want to call it that, with these news articles that are coming out. We're seeing it on more social media platforms. Obviously, there's a lot more different opinions now, it seems. But yeah, it is getting a lot bigger. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. And if you did enjoy, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit, alright? Goodbye.